the portrait problem.
The children in Mrs. May's class were painting.
The children in Mrs. May's house class were painting.
They had to do a portrait.
They had to do a portrait.
I want you to paint someone's face, said Mrs. May.
I want you to paint someone's face, said Mrs. May.
First, I will explain how to do it.
First, I will explain how to do it.
Mrs. May drew an oval face.
Mrs. May drew an oval face.
She drew 3 lines across it and put 1 line down the middle.
She drew 3 lines across it and put 1 line down the middle.
The eyes are halfway down.
The eyes are halfway down.
The top of the ears are level with the eyes, she said.
The top of the ears are level with the eyes, she said.
Chip was good at painting.
Chip was good at painting.
He had painted a portrait of Anina.
He had painted a portrait of Anina.
It's brilliant, said Nadim.
It's brilliant, said Nadim.
It looks just like Anina.
It looks just like an Anina.
Mrs. May put the finished portraits on the wall.
Mrs. May put the finished portrait on the wall.
Mine is rubbish, complained Wilf.
Mine is rubbish, complained Wilf.
No, it's not, said Biff.
No, it's not, said Biff.
You just haven't got the ears quite right.
You just haven't got the ears quite right.
Chip had a sketchbook.
Chip had a sketchbook.
He had done a sketch of Mrs. May.
He had done sketches.
He had done a sketch of Mrs. May.
He had done a sketch of Mrs. May.
It's quite good, smiled Mrs. May.
It's quite good, smiled Mrs. May.
To get even better, you need to practice.
To get even better, you need to practice.
Try to draw as often as you can.
Try to draw as often as you can.
Wilf and Nadim went to play with Chip.
Wilf and Nadim went to play with Chip.
Chip's sketchbook was in Biff's room.
Chip's sketchbook was in Biff's room.
He had done a sketch of Nadim.
He had done a sketch of Nadim.
I'd like to be an artist when I grow up, said Chip.
I'd like to be an artist when I grow up, said Chip.
I'll keep this, said Nadim.
I'll keep this, said Nadim.
In case you become a famous artist one day.
In case you become a famous artist one day.
Suddenly, the magic key began to glow.
Suddenly, the magic key began to glow.
Suddenly, the magic took the children on a new adventure.
The magic took the children to a new adventure.
The magic took the children on a new The magic took the children back in time to a city in Italy called Florence.
The magic took the children back in time a city in Italy called Florence.
I wonder why the key has brought us here, said Chip.
I wonder why the key was brought us here, said Chip.
Just then, they heard shouting.
Just then, they heard shouting.
A man was at an open window.
A man was at an open window.
He was shouting at some men in the street.
He was shouting at some men in the street.
But, sir, called one of the men.
But, sir, called one of the men.
Your picture is too big to go down the stairs.
Your picture is too big to go down the stairs.
We could knock the staircase down, said another man.
We could knock the staircase down, said another man.
But why not just cut 6 inches off one end of the painting?
But why not just cut 6 inches of one end of the painting?
Impossible, yelled the man.
Impossible, yelled the man.
I'm sure these children have more sense than you.
I'm sure these children have more sense than you.
He pointed at Wilf, Chip, and Nadim.
He pointed at Wilf, Chip, and Nadim.
Children, he shouted.
Children, he shouted.
I am Sandro Botticelli, the artist.
I'm Sandro Botticelli, the artist.
Come up to my studio and tell me which end to cut off my picture.
Come up to my studio and tell me which end to cut off my picture.
It has taken me 2 years to paint it.
It has taken me 2 years to paint it.
This picture is called Spring, said Sandro.
This picture is called Spring, said Sandro.
Do you like it?
Do you like it?
Chip gasped.
Chip gasped.
It's a famous painting, he whispered.
It's a famous painting, he whispered.
I've seen it in a book.
I've seen it in a book.
Nadim was looking at the window.
Nadim was looking at the window.
There's no need to take the staircase down, he said.
There's no need to take the staircase down, he said.
Knock out the window frame and lower the painting into the street.
Knock out the window frame, lower the painting into the street.
Huh? Said Sandro, clapping his hands.
Ha, said Sandro, clapping his hands.
Bravo! Children often know best.
Bravo, children often know best.
You want to be an artist too? Sandro asked, looking at Chip's drawings.
You want to be an artist too? Sandro asked, looking at Chip's drawings.
You need to work hard and draw all the time.
You need to work hard and draw all the time.
You must look and study what you see.
You must look and study what you see.
See? I am painting a portrait of a young man. Sandro went on.
See, I am painting a portrait of a young man.
See?
Sandro
I am
went on.
I want you to help me.
I want you to help me.
Put on this tunic so I can copy the folds in it.
Put on this tunic so I can copy the fold in it.
Suddenly, there was a loud thumping noise, and the house began to shake.
Suddenly there was a loud thumping noise and the house began to shake.
The jars and pots began to rattle.
The jars and pots began to rattle.
Some fell onto the floor with a crash.
Some fell onto the floor with a crash.
Is it an earthquake? Gasped Chip.
It is an earthquake, said Chip.
Ah, groaned Sandro.
Ah, groaned Sandro.
I cannot work like this.
I cannot work like this.
The man next door is a weaver.
The man next door is a weaver.
His looms make the walls shake.
His looms make the world shake.
Go next door.
Go next door.
Please beg him to stop shaking my house.
Please,
Sandro pleaded.
Please beg him to stop shaking my house. Sandro pleaded.
He will not listen to me, but maybe he will listen to you.
He not listen to me, but maybe he will listen it to you.
The weaver came to the door.
The weaver came into the door.
Your looms are shaking the house of Sandro the artist, said Nadim.
Your looms are making the house of Sandro the artist, said Nadim.
He cannot paint his pictures.
He cannot paint his pictures.
The weaver showed them his looms.
The weaver showed them his loom.
I weave fine cloth, he said.
I weave the fine cloths, he said.
It is how I earn my living.
It is how I earn my living.
And in my own house, I can do what I please.
And in my own house, I can do what I please.
Sandro the artist paints beautiful pictures.
Sandro the artist paints beautiful pictures.
He paints fine portraits, said Chip.
He paints the fine portrait, said Chip.
That is his job.
That is his job.
Bah, weaving cloth is a proper job, the weaver replied.
But weaving clothes is a proper job, the weaver replied.
What did he say? Asked Sandro.
What did he say? Asked Sandro.
In his own house, he can do as he pleases, said Wilf.
In his own house, he can do as he pleases. Please, said Wilf.
So, said Sandro.
So, said Sandro.
I need to teach him a lesson.
So I need to teach him a lesson.
Wait here.
Wait here.
Later, Sandro returned with some workmen.
Later, Sandro returned with some workmen.
They had ropes and long, thick poles of wood.
They had ropes and long, thick poles of wood.
On a cart was an enormous stone.
On a cart was an enormous stone.
The men built a strong frame.
The man built a strong frame.
Then they pulled the boulder onto the edge of Sandro's roof.
Then they put the lumber on the edge of Sandra's roof.
Place it on the very edge, Sandro ordered.
Place it on her edge, said Sandra ordered.
It doesn't look very safe, said Wilf.
It doesn't look very safe, said Wilf.
Sandro rubbed his hands.
Sandra rubbed his hand.
No, it is not safe, he said.
No, it is not safe, he said.
We will see what happens when the weaver's looms start working.
We will see what happens when the weaver looms start working.
The weaver's looms began to shake Sandro's house.
The weaver looms began to shake Sandra's house.
The enormous stone shook as well.
The enormous stone shook as well.
It began to move.
It began to
What are you doing? Cried the weaver.
What are you doing? Cried the weaver.
Remove it. The stone is unsafe.
The stone is unsafe.
Remove it.
Remove
It will fall onto my house.
It will fall on my house.
It will crash through my roof. He wailed.
It will crash through my roof. He wailed.
Well, said Sandro.
Well, said Sandra.
In my own house, I can do what I please.
In my own house, I can do what I please.
Nadim had an idea.
Nadim had an idea.
He spoke to the weaver.
He spoke to the weaver.
Let the artist paint a portrait of you wearing a cloak of your fine cloth.
Let the artist painting a portrait of people will see and each and look when buy from you.
Why not work at different times? Nadim added.
Why not you work at different time? Nadim added.
Then you will both be happy.
Then you will both be happy.
The two men shook hands.
The two men shook hands.
The weaver agreed to work in the mornings.
The weaver agreed to work in the morning.
The artist agreed to work in the afternoons.
The artist agreed to work in the afternoon.
That was clever, Nadim, said Wilf.
That was clever, Nadim, said Wilf.
Sandro began the portrait of the weaver at once.
Sandra began to portrait of the weaver at once.
He gave Chip one of his sketches.
He gave Chip one of the sketches.
Then the magic key began to glow.
Then the magic key began
It
to
was
glow.
funny when the stone on the roof began to shake, laughed Wilf.
It was funny when the stone on the roof began to shake, said
I
Wilf.
wonder if the portrait of the weaver will be in that book I saw at school, said Chip.
I wonder if the portrait of the weaver will be in the book I saw at school, said Chip.
This is a really good portrait, said Mrs. May.
This is really good portrait, said Mrs. May.
Did you draw it?
Did you draw it?
No, Sandro Botticelli did, said Chip.
No, Sandra Botticelli did, said.
Very funny, Chip, said Mrs. May.
Very funny, Chip, said Mrs. May.